Welcome to Afritales by Madas, where African stories are told with heart, truth, and culture. Here, our stories carry strong moral lessons. Sit back, relax, and let the story inspire you. For 21 years, a secret slept quietly inside the heart of a kingdom named Omoggala. Its ruler was King Obiora. He was still alive, but his strength was slowly leaving him. Every night, when the palace became silent, the king sat alone and whispered only one name: Olamma, the woman he once loved, the woman tradition took away from him, the woman who carried his child into exile. But very few people knew how that tragedy truly began. Olamma did not grow up in the palace. She grew up alone. She was an orphan. Her mother, Ifeyiwa, died when giving birth to her. Her father was late Mr. Michael, the palm wine tapper. He died when Olamma was still very young. From that day, the world became quiet for her. No mother, no brother, no strong family name. Only a small hut at the edge of the village, and a kind heart that refused to become bitter. Olamma had one special gift: her voice. She could sing like morning light, soft, clear, healing. Whenever there was a village gathering, people asked her to sing. Even strangers stopped to listen. It was through her singing that she met Prince Obiora. One afternoon, as Olamma sang near the open square close to the palace, the young prince stopped to listen. He did not see an orphan. He saw a gentle soul. From that day, they began to talk, slowly, carefully, like two people who did not belong to the same world. They became friends, real friends. Olamma never asked for gifts. She never asked for help. She never reminded him that he was a prince. She only treated him like a human being. And for Prince Obiora, that was rare. But the palace noticed. The prince's family noticed. The elders noticed. They were not happy. An orphan, a poor girl, a palm wine tapper's daughter. They believed she had no place near the future king. Still, the two young hearts continued to meet quietly. And without planning it, friendship slowly became love. One morning, Olamma collapsed on the village path. She was weak. She was shaking. Her neighbors rushed to her. They thought she was dying. They carried her quickly to the village clinic. After treatment, the healer called the elders aside. Then he spoke quietly. She is not dying. She is pregnant. The word spread like fire. In Omoggala, an unmarried pregnancy was not just shame. It was called an abomination. Before sunset, the whole community knew. Before nightfall, the palace knew. And before the next morning, the king's household saw their opportunity. An opportunity to remove the orphan forever. Olamma was brought before the elders. Her head was down. Her hands were shaking. They asked only one question: who is responsible for this pregnancy? She kept quiet. She knew the truth, but she also knew what would happen if she spoke. She was afraid. Afraid the king would disown Prince Obiora. Afraid the palace would destroy his future. Afraid of what the king could do to her. Afraid of what tradition could do to him. So she chose silence. Not because she was stubborn, but because she loved him. Her silence was taken as guilt. Her weakness was taken as rebellion. And her orphanhood became the perfect excuse. The king's family whispered among themselves. The girl has no one. No strong clan will defend her. No royal blood will cry for her. And because she could not mention the name of the prince, because she refused to speak, the elders turned their faces away. But something unexpected happened. The chief priest stood up. His voice was calm. No one must touch the girl. We must wait for the gods to speak. The palace hall went silent. The kingdom became divided. Some elders feared the gods, some elders feared disgrace, and the king feared shame. They waited, but not for long. Behind closed doors,
The king's household and selected elders met again. The truth remained hidden, the prince remained protected, and the orphan became the sacrifice. Before dawn, Olamma was sent away, not beaten, not judged publicly, but quietly erased. Because in Mogala, the royal blood never gets lost or killed in exile. Olamma walked out of the kingdom alone, with a child inside her womb, with no name to defend her, with no voice left to sing, and with a secret that would one day shake a throne. Far away, very far from Mogala, Olamma walked until her feet were swollen. She crossed forests, she crossed rivers, she crossed strange villages. She carried only one thing with her, the child growing inside her. At last, she reached a far and forgotten land. Its name was Ezim. She had nothing, no family, no protection, no future plan, only hope. That was where she met a woman named Ovute. Ovute looked at her and said gently, "You will stay with me. We will survive together." And from that broken beginning, the story of a future king quietly began. But fate was cruel. On the night Olamma went into labor, the rain fell heavily, but Ovute stayed beside her till morning. A baby boy was born. Olamma held the child weakly. His name is Okoereke, meaning the savior. Then she whispered to Ovute, "Please, raise him well. Do not tell him who his father is. Do not tell him where he truly comes from." Before sunrise, Olamma passed away. Ovute became a mother overnight, not by blood, but by love. Okoereke grew up in Ezim as Ovute's son. He walked from a young age. He was quiet and thoughtful, but his nights were never peaceful. He saw strange dreams. He saw wide palace gates. He heard drums calling his name. He saw elders kneeling before him, and sometimes he saw a man wearing a crown crying silently. When he woke up, his heart would beat painfully. He never understood why. When Okoereke turned 15, Ovute became seriously ill. One night, she called him close. "My son, I must tell you something before I go." She held his hand tightly. "I am not your real mother." Okoereke froze. She told him about Olamma, about the night of his birth, about the promise she made, and she repeated Olamma's final words. "Never allow the world make you wicked, no matter what life does to you." That same night, Ovute died. For the second time in his life, Okoereke became alone. In Ogala, King Obi-Ora's health began to fail. The weight of the past became heavier than his crown. One evening, he called the council of elders. With a trembling voice, he said, "I sent away my wife. I abandoned my own son. If I leave this world without finding them, my spirit will never rest." He lifted his hand slowly. 12 elders must go in search of them. That night, something unusual appeared in the sky. A single bright moon, different from all others. The chief priest spoke quietly. "This moon is not ordinary. It is a sign." The elders were instructed to follow the path the moon revealed each night. For 12 long days they walked, across forests, across rivers, across distant villages. The number 12 was sacred. It symbolized completion, perfection, divine timing. On the 12th night, the moon rested directly above a far and forgotten settlement. It was Ezim. In Ezim, the elders heard only one name spoken with respect, Okoereke. They noticed his calm spirit. They noticed how people trusted him. And when they quietly checked the back of his upper arm, they saw the ancient royal mark. The truth was no longer hidden. The lost prince had been found. Before the elders could safely take him away, fate delayed him. One market morning, while pushing a borrowed bicycle, Okoereke accidentally hit a young woman carrying kegs of palm oil. The oil poured on the ground. The young woman screamed in anger. Her name was Adaeze. She was proud, sharp-tongued, and impatient. "Do you know who my father is?" Okoereke immediately knelt down. "I am sorry. I will pay." Adaeze laughed coldly. "My father is Chief Omenka of Amajimta." Chief Omenka was powerful. When Okoereke was brought before him, he did not listen to any explanation. "You will stay here and work until the loss is fully paid." The gates closed behind him. From that day, suffering became his daily companion. He woke before sunrise. He swept large compounds. He fetched water until his hands shook. He washed heavy clothes. He worked on the farm. He was never thanked. If he slowed down, Adaeze mocked him. "You were born to suffer," she would say. She enjoyed reminding him that he had no family and no name. Chief Omenka had another daughter. Her name was Igaranwaowa. She was gentle, quiet, and different. She noticed how Okoereke endured everything without complaint. One evening, she brought him food quietly. "You have not eaten since morning." Okoereke looked at her with surprise. "Thank you. May God reward you." From that day, something slowly grew between them. Not loud, not rushed, just understanding. Chief Omenka soon noticed. He saw how his second daughter looked at the servant. Anger filled his heart. He summoned Igaranwaowa. "You will leave this house tomorrow and go to your grandmother's village." She froze. "But father," "I said leave." He did not want his daughter to associate with a poor servant. He believed love must follow status, not character. Before she left, Igaranwaowa secretly met Okoereke. Tears filled her eyes. "I will return," Okoereke whispered. "No matter where you go, I will never forget you." That night, under a quiet tree behind the compound, Okoereke spoke from his heart. "If life ever gives me a name, if destiny ever lifts me, I will come back for you." He paused. "Igaranwaowa, I love you." She could not answer. She only cried. Before the elders could return with Okoereke, news came from Umuogala. King Obiora had collapsed. On his sickbed, he whispered only one instruction: "Bring my son home before my eyes close." The elders rushed. Okoereke was taken away quietly. When he arrived at the palace, the king could barely sit. He looked into the young man's face and he saw Olamma. "My son." Tears rolled down the king's cheeks. That night, the king told him everything: the love, the fear, the mistake, the regret. Okoereke listened silently. He did not accuse him. He only said, "My mother taught me never to hate." Before dawn, King Obiora passed away. The kingdom gathered for the coronation of the new king. The boy who once carried water for strangers now stood before a nation. Okoereke was crowned. The drums rolled. The people rejoiced. But his heart searched for only one face: Igaranwaowa. She had returned quietly from her grandmother's village. She stood far back in the crowd. Before the final royal blessings, Okoereke suddenly stepped forward. The Madas became silent. He turned toward the people, and then toward her. "I do not stand here today because I was born into a palace. I stand here because someone believed in me when I was nothing." He walked toward Igaranwaowa. "My suffering taught me patience. My past taught me humility. But love taught me courage." He looked into her eyes. "Igaranwaowa, will you be my wife?" The crowd gasped. Tears ran down her cheeks. She nodded. "Yes." Later, Okoereke ordered that his mother, Olamma, be officially recognized in the royal records. Her name was cleared, her memory restored, her dignity returned. The kingdom that once rejected her now honored her. Moral lessons. A mistake does not cancel destiny. Even when life begins in pain, greatness can still grow from it. Love is the greatest gift, but it must come with sacrifice and responsibility. True leadership begins with humility. Okoereke became wise because he first learned how to serve. Love and responsibility must work together. Running away from truth only delays healing. Kindness given in secret can shape a whole future. Ovute's sacrifice built the character of a future leader. Forgiveness is stronger than anger. Okoereke chose peace, and it healed both his family and the kingdom.